Welcome to the Practical Ascension Podcast. I am your host and guide, Tracy Goody. Join me as we navigate this transition into the new earth and find our place and role as the divine human. Subscribe, rate, or leave a review to show your support. It is Mission on Lightworkers. July 2022 Sirian Gateway Transmission. All right, so this is the most spiritual time of the year for me. July, it's my birthday month. It has always been a time of deep connection with nature, deep spiritual awakening. And then in more recent years, whenever I found out there's a Sirius gateway that opens that first week of July, it started to make a lot of sense. So the information coming through on the podcast today is all about this Sirius gateway transmission. This message to light workers, to change makers, way showers has been coming through really, really powerfully lately. And it's also come through a new activation that I'm going to talk about a little bit later on in the podcast. So I'm going to move through this transmission that came through and kind of throw my own insights in there a little bit here and there. So as I mentioned, we're coming into this time of the Sirius gateway. I really look forward to this every year. This has really potent energy in it. And for me, it's all about spiritual truth, awareness, freedom, and letting go of restrictions and confinement. So what I notice is with the brilliance of Sirius, which is about 25 times more brilliant, more bright than our sun, we tend to notice discordant energies a little bit easier that might require some rebalancing and acceptance. Or we might notice light waves of transformation and communications that are flooding in with just kind of like these really in-depth soul knowings that come through. And I also noticed this similar energy in December as we're passing the winter solstice and opening into January. I just find there's so much balance, and I found that really interesting. And as I was doing research, I'm realizing that the Sirius gateways open here in July, and then the last week of December, that same type of magic comes up as Sirius is the brightest in the sky that it is all year. So it's really beautiful to notice that balance that we're moving through. And balance was coming through as kind of the opening when this transmission came through. So if you're in the dark right now, there is a balancing force. This message was coming through very, very strongly. It's not about being in the light all the time. It's about knowing that when you are in the dark, there's a balancing force. There's a balancing energy for you. And when you have the light, you're there to balance as well. So whenever you're in the dark, there's an energy, there's a person, there's an area of invitation to refocus on the light within. So the seeds of potential that have been germinating for the last season are asking, what's next? They're asking what is required of you. So how can you take care of those seeds? So it could have been things that you've been asking for a while in that last season. And maybe whenever you're focused on the light and you're focused on outward action, you're not noticing that those seeds are calling for you within. They're telling you, it's time to ask how you can care for yourself. It's time to ask how you can nurture yourself or go within. Or if it's time to outwardly express yourself. But if you find you're in the dark right now, this is a big, big invitation to see what seeds are germinating and coming out right now. Whenever you can come to a place of acceptance, even if you can't get the answers from those seeds yet, but accept, okay, I'm in the dark right now, there's a reason for it, come to that acceptance, you're going to click through those steps really, really quickly, as opposed to, what am I doing in the dark here? Everybody else is in the light, I should be in the light. And then you kind of create that resistance. But if you're just coming to a place of acceptance about where you're at, you can dig right into that knowing and what those seeds are trying to tell you inside you. So leaning in and learning how to celebrate all aspects of your journey in your own way was the very first key that really came in here. Right on the heels of that, another key came in. So again, it's kind of still playing with the same theme, but saying that the visual that came through and the way they were describing it is soul gifts are like a buffet or like a smorgasbord. Some people might know it as that, but it's just this big, long, unlimited buffet of beautiful soul gifts. Like there's just so many of them. It's unlimited options to choose from. And they're all so beautiful. They're all so valuable. And they're also so shiny and delicious, right? So there are unlimited options to choose from. So the real value is not in being like, oh my goodness, there's so many, I want all of them, right? Because you're not going to be able to ever hold them all or take them all or use them all. So the real value comes from looking within and honoring what you are gravitating towards the most as the most nourishing, pleasurable, and beneficial items to choose. So again, we're picturing these soul gifts like it's on a buffet, right? And we're really tapping in. We're not saying, I need them all, I want them all. That person has that one, so I want that one. It's not going to be beneficial. You'll be running around in this frantic, crazy energy trying to get them all. Instead, you just take a moment to tune within. What is for me right now? You have to choose them. So your soul gifts have already chosen you, and they already have your name on it. So it's not like somebody else is going to pick it up and take it and you can't have that soul gift anymore. No, if somebody else has a similar soul gift, their name will be on it. They'll pick it up, and then a new one will be created with your name on it. Like, it's always going to be there, but you need to pick them up and claim them. They are you and you are them. So you're just reconnecting and recalibrating these aspects of yourself. You are deciding what aspects to turn on at any given moment. So you're gathering all these soul aspects, and you've been doing this. You're gathering all these soul gifts, and you've been doing this for lifetimes, right? And many of us have such a variety and a divinely curated collection of gifts and insights that it can feel kind of overwhelming to know what to do with them all, especially in this lifetime where we're doing like big transition stuff, right? We have a lot of gifts that we can use in this lifetime. So taking that time to go within is always so important. We feel like sometimes we want to just go and do and help and do whatever, but it's coming back within. That's another big key that's coming up here. So how to approach assisting with ascension from so many potential pathways. You're coming back to within. And that's that darkness that keeps coming up. It's saying, yeah, we know you have a lot of options. We know you have a lot of gifts. We know this person's doing that. This person's doing that. Just set that to the side for a moment and look at the seed that's coming up within you. Look at that seed. What's it calling for within you? So your being of light knows the way and is here strongly at this time specifically to help you merge the ego and the divine human through awareness and accepting and weaving the light codes that you are most in resonance with. So this is your unique piece of the puzzle. This is your unique light codes. And when I say light codes, they are just specific truths, wisdoms, energies that you specifically are working with. And I call that your puzzle piece as well, right? Which also encompasses your role here on earth. So stand and witness it transform in front of you. So visualize that you have this puzzle piece, and that puzzle piece that's how you click in, right? You click into the collective, you click into the earth, you click into your role, and kind of create this harmonized space for you. So ask your puzzle piece so you can visualize that if you want. If you're a visual person, ask your puzzle piece what it looks and feels like today. So what is that? What message does that puzzle piece have to share? And this puzzle piece can look like an extension of your soul self, an extension of your divine mission. So see your puzzle piece, visualize it fitting into this magnificent golden ascension grid that surrounds the earth and streams light from within all beings of light that are on this planet and off this planet. So all light workers have this beautiful piece of the puzzle, and it all clicks into this ascension grid. And there's also all of these, the archangels, the ascendant masters, the guides, the beings of 100% light that are here to help with ascension. They're clicked in there too. They have their puzzle piece too. So allowing yourself to really just feel and see your place in this multidimensional cosm of co-creation is extremely powerful. You're reminding yourself, I have personal responsibility. I'm not responsible for it all. It's doable. What I have is doable. What I have within me is enough, is more than enough, is perfect for what I am here to create. So then check in with your puzzle piece. See it up there and ask it, what's going on right now? And that puzzle piece is connected into the seeds within you. Your role is very important and is very needed, and you're accomplishing it right now. There's never any fear of being behind or missing out or doing it wrong. If your intention in your heart is to expand the earth and the collective into greater light, peace, harmony, well-being, and balance, then you are on the path right now. Like there's no question. There's no question in higher consciousness, right? Everything will continue recalibrating for you to continue to ensure that you are always in the right space, so long as you have that intention in your heart. And there are cycles to this path as the planet, this 3D human experience is also a learning experience, right? So it's not necessarily meant to be linear, straightforward, and easy, right? It loops and it changes and it swirls and all different types of things happen here because you're also learning at the same time and evolving right now and applying lessons that you learn previous lifetimes and previous areas of your life. So you learn so much on a soul level already that it is absolutely insane from a soul perspective to think that you don't have everything you need within you right now. And I understand from an ego, from that human perspective, it's very easy to get caught in that illusion that we don't have what we need within us. But really, we really do. This process of thinking that the answers lie outside of you is a key part of light workers breaking through right now, right? Learning to self-trust, learning to go within, recognizing that others and the world around you are a key piece of this awakening, but will only create the impact you desire by following your knowing. So again, it's showing that buffet visual again, right? Lots of healers out there, lots of coaches out there, lots of programs out there, lots of modalities and different types of crystals and different books. Unlimited, right? So many options. It doesn't matter. Go within. What is the key piece for you right now? How are you ready to be led? How are you ready to be open? What call is coming out right now? There's going to be an answer to that call somewhere. It is the balancing truth that's happening right now. So maybe it's a course you feel a heart connection to, a healer modality, or a place, or a herb, or a practice. This is your inner knowing guiding the way to a key energy that unlocks something for you. So just like I said, that balancing force that we're working with right now, there are keys that unlock. It balances, it rebalances, and it continues to propel you on your path. So awakening and ascension is not something that we're doing alone. This path of the Western light worker, I'll call it, that encompasses all these change makers, all these healers, all these shamans, these way showers, we're meant to do it together, to notice and feel that someone has an energy that feeds you and helps you to wake up, that brings more light and depth to your journey. Great. Connect with them. See what is meant to explore there. Maybe you're just meant to follow them on social media and you get key codes from their posts that they put. Maybe you're meant to work with them or connect with them on a friendship level. Follow where you are guided. Our hesitations and maybe fear of embarrassment or something like that can kind of trip us up. But this is a big reminder. We're doing it together. We're doing it together. And this means connecting. This means maybe more connecting than you have been doing, or maybe less connecting than you have been doing. You're going within to find those answers. Anyway, when you're feeling all of these things, this means that they hold a key code. They hold a light code or specific frequency that activates something within you. Maybe it is, you're like, oh, hey, they, wrote this thing and that reminded me of this. And, oh, that opened me up to a soul truth and now I'm inspired. Or maybe it's like, oh, I'm noticing that this bothers me about that person. Where's that coming from? Oh, great, I can heal that now. And that's a lesson. And that's a soul evolution as well. So in that same way that others and other places and objects and books and teachings hold key codes for you, you're holding that for others. So you hold the channel that they need. You may also hold light codes that the land needs, that your family needs, and that as you anchor your divine human nature in your everyday life, meaning you're merging the sacred with the everyday, kind of like mundane, you're creating this massive ascension impact. So you may kind of be of the mindset sometimes that, oh, I'm only, honoring my divine mission and creating an impact when I'm out and I'm working and I'm expressing and I'm making courses or hosting sessions or something like that. But your ascension impact goes well beyond your quote, your work or your business. Your ascension impact is encoded into every aspect of your life, and you're honoring your role in your inner aspect and allowing yourself to recognize and celebrate this daily. That's going to help to mitigate some of those harsh judgments and resistances that we can tend to create by believing we're somehow not doing enough or not enough. It's in perfect alignment. We're being really, really hard on ourselves right now. So there's a big message coming through right now to lighten up, to have some fun with it, to let's not forget that side of things, right? So if you are in that space where you're kind of being hard on yourself, that not enough theme is coming up, take a breath here and just breathe. Let it down, let it out, let it go. Know that the guides and the earth and your inner being are all surrounding you right now, being like, you're doing enough. It's okay. Just relax. Just set it down. So we are naturally creatures of comparison, and it's natural to orient ourselves by looking to where others are seemingly located on their path and journey. And again, social media throws a whole other kind of skew on this, but we're not getting into that today. So again, this is just another aspect of ego that's shifting into divine human form. In divine human form, we're recognizing the contrast and the different paths around us, but we're not judging or criticizing ourselves or others for the placement on the path. From the divine human perspective, this is just a hilarious way of thinking. To think that we should judge or criticize someone or ourselves for placement is just like, it's literally a joke, because from that perspective, it just doesn't exist. So imagine that there is this like beautiful, beautiful, expansive, magical forest, right? And there's this circular trail through the forest. It's just a big circle. And there are unlimited places to enter the trail and unlimited places of beauty and majesty and magic in this forest. So say you're like, oh, I'm going to go into the magic forest today. So you go in, you're on your path, and you get a notification on your phone that someone you know is on a different part of the trail. Would you feel bad about yourself or judge yourself because of where you're at on the trail? Or would you judge them for where they're at on the trail? No, you would just be like, oh, I've just noticed that they're on the trail. Or maybe your joy even increases because you're like, great, others are experiencing this absolute beauty and majesty as well. Or maybe you'll notice somebody, you're walking along the trail and you notice somebody is in front of you on the trail. Are you going to beat yourself up because you're not where they are? So would you give up your present moment experience of the part of the path, the part of the trail that you're on, because you feel like you need to be or should be where they are? So again, from that divine human perspective, focusing negatively on yourself and judging yourself negatively for where you're not on the path, it's just crazy. So it's something that we are undoing right now. We are invited to undo. And I know this expression of enjoying the journey can be really infuriating when you are in that ego energy of wanting to be on a different part of the path. Like, I mean, I'm human. I feel it too. Like, I totally get it. So it's just reminding yourself, because you're working with old programming, and that's just a part of this ascension we're going through. We're working with old programming. We're working with the ego. We're working with what has been comfortable and anchored into human consciousness. So you got to remind yourself often that you're exactly where you need to be on the path, and the key to move forward is to stop and look around you. Be present with your surroundings. So this applies as, you know, we're looking at that forest, that magical path, but then kind of pulling that into everyday life as well. Stop and look around you, because the answers are not just necessarily, you know, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to go within, I'm going to get those answers. Sometimes, yeah, that's the best way. But life is full of messages. It's all around you. You don't even have to necessarily go within. You just have to be open and ready and aware and know that they are there. So they'll come from our body. Our physical body is amazing at expressing to us what is going on. And when we notice something in our physical body, stop and tap into it. Get more information from it. Get more illumination from it. Our mind, the things that constantly cycle in our mind, they're telling us something. Our higher mind, our heart consciousness, tapping into our heart. We get messages from the land, from the houses, the homes we live in, our vehicles, our children, everybody around us. Songs on the radio, right? Comes from animals, the weather, the stars. The messages are literally in every conceivable area of life. They're always leading us deeper into our experience and guiding the way. It's just about tapping in. And that's that shamanic living aspect that I feel pretty lit up about, because I love connecting into things around me, because it is literally magical and literally shows you every answer and every highest and best direction you could possibly get. It's such a powerful way to connect. So we're moving through this alone. We're not moving through this alone, even when we are physically alone, right? We have the entire universe of support available to us. But again, we have to remember to notice it. We have to remember to call it forward and to pay attention to where we are on the path, not where we should be, where other people are on the path. Notice it And then if you feel yourself, having some judgments and stuff, say, oh, that's all good. That's the human, that's the ego in me. We're all good about that. But I'm just going to take a bath and I'm back, and I'm not going to look at where they're at. I'm going to look at where I'm at. I'm going to look at the magic around me, because I might think, oh, all the magic is around them, nothing left for me. But then I remember, no, that's the old way of thinking. I'm coming back within. I'm focusing on my heart. I'm focusing on the present moment. And I'm going to notice the magic around me, because there is damn well magic around me at every given moment. Like, it is truth. So the Sirian Gateway transmission has come through with the intention to really help you refocus on the path around you, to refocus on your own spiritual truth, your own puzzle piece. It's not you trying to fit a mold or a deadline created by ego that will help you go through transformation. It's embracing your own key codes and anchoring them into your cells to work with the ego and divine parts of yourself and embody the divine human. You are playing a role for others. Others are playing a role for you. It's an entire, intricate, harmonized event that's taking place here. And the Sirian Gateway, the Sirius Gateway, is a channel of pure potential. Every potential exists at every moment. We're only limited by our own belief imposed restrictions. So again, just old ways of thinking. This is just something we're dealing with in this transition time. It just is. So it's natural. It's not beat yourself up because I've had restricted thinking or because I've confined myself. No, you're still where you're meant to be. That's part of the path. That's part of the lesson. So increase your frequency of freedom and empower yourself to trust in your choices, and miracles will just naturally unfold to support you. Believe it to be true without attachment to a specific outcome, kind of being a little flexible and kind of open in your co-creation intentions, and you will gravitate towards increasing synchronicities, align people, places, and things that reveal to you really just how magical you are and how magical this aspect of your path really is. So don't be fooled into thinking that you're not a powerful co-creator because you are being guided in a new and surprising way. The universe has been like making some sharp left turns, sharp right turns when you're not expecting it lately for a lot of people, myself included. And whenever we're like, well, no, I'm co-creating this way, or I'm manifesting this, and it can be just like kind of jarring, be like, okay, well, I must have resistance or doing something wrong. That's not necessarily the case. It's most likely not the case. It's most likely the case that you are just being guided into an even more powerful direction, that you're kind of making leaps and bounds that you're not even aware of yet. Like, your mind and your physical body still has to catch up to where your energy is like ready to go. So let the universe surprise you and kind of be flexible in what you want to create. Your ego can create some really rigid beliefs about how things should be. And we are not in a battle with ego. We're in a dance with ego back and forth. The ego has been super comfortable in how things are and should be as a mechanism to keep us safe as these early humans, right? But now, as we're transitioning, we are teaching the ego a new dance, one that's less about trudging forward with our heads down and getting to the next safe place, and more about playing with movements as we feel called, playing with reality and beliefs. So there's a lot more a kind of dance energy, a lot of joy energy in here, a lot of fun and just experience energy. So this big leap into spiritual awakening and the potential of the divine human is a big deal for the human ego. Like, just kind of have a little bit of patience with that part of yourself, because you're teaching it to dance when all it knew before was trudging along, right? And along the way, you create evidence and you prove that this way is also safe. And your ego kind of like starts to open up a little bit and be like, oh, hey, look at that. It is okay to go this way. It's actually enjoyable. And slowly the ego is going to lean into the light and incorporate with your spiritual truths. And then you're becoming an example of the divine human, the divine human being the divine and the ego integrated together to create this new earth. So ego and spirit are working together for the betterment of humanity in your unique puzzle piece in only the way that you can. Only the way you can. Only you can do that puzzle piece. So have faith that the path that you're on is right for you. And have faith that you are the master of these energies. Like, you are the master of these energies. You've been literally designed for everything. Everything that you desire, everything that you need is within you right now. So hear and answer the call of this divine intelligence. You have the direct line. All you got to do is quiet that ego mind. connect to the earth, come to a place of safety within where the ego can relax and you can really just tap into that divine self, let that divine self come forward. And as you work with your divine human nature, you're naturally going to evolve to the desire to express yourself, to amplify your light codes, and to be the change you desire to see. So sometimes we're like, I have to do this. I have to get moving on this. Why am I not doing this? But when you remember your divine human nature, you evolve naturally to want to express it. You're overflowed with it, right? So this comes naturally when you follow the path that you're on. Again, present, paying attention to what is going on around you, noticing the messages within and all around you. This humorous, this light-filled connection to your ego, as opposed to getting really, really frustrated and hard on your ego, or getting sad or depressed that you're still working with the ego. It's going to be there, so you might as well have some light-filled and humorous ways to work with it. And then answering the calls that you are guided to. You are expressing your divine mission now. You're exactly where you need to be. This keeps coming in time and time again right now. Find your center of peace within and have a laugh at the transformation and lessons you're moving through. Greater miracles and magic are surrounding you in any given moment. Like, it's increasing, it's amplifying. We're getting more and more and more of it. I've also been guided to take this transmission one step further. I'm so excited for this because I've just recorded this before I've recorded the podcast. So it felt really, really beautiful. So I've created a Sirius gateway activation for those who choose to be in my space. And this activation is most potent whenever Sirius is aligned in the sky. So early July and late December. There's probably other times of the year. I didn't really research it. I'm just going off of the times that really came up for me. But you can complete it at any time of the year, as these spiritual truth frequencies anchoring through this transmission are going to remain active and flowing. So the Sirian Gateway transmission is going to help you, and it's under 10 minutes, just a quick little guided journey, and I'll be running the energies on it to help you reclaim and recalibrate more of your divine human nature by increasing your self-knowing, integration of advanced light codes within, directions and assistance to transmute limitation and restrictions that create the illusion of suffering and struggle in your life. So it's also helping to accept responsibility with greater ease, which creates space for your truth and mission to unveil. Helps to magnetize all aspects, energies, people, places, events to allow for a smoother transition into grace and alignment with the new earth frequencies. It's also helping you in your current step that you're in right now, the current area of your path, to claim and remember your soul truth and vibrance so that you can shine in your true radiance. There's real good energies in this. So if you are already a part of my email space, you'll find access to that activation. It's a free gift for those that are in my space. And if you're not yet a part of my email space, then you can get access to that in the show notes below. So I invite you to join me on that. And if you do decide to take part in the activation, I encourage you to get like a nice cup of tea or a drink or even like a coffee or chocolate or something like that for just after the activation to kind of sit with yourself and see what's coming to the surface. It's meant to stir up energies and really bring in some spiritual truths. So have an amazing week, and I hope this message has prompted you into a deeper connection with your divine human self. Thank you so much for joining me today.